Okay, 1, 2, check. Hey, welcome back. As you can see today, we have this Delica right here. I've showed this thing maybe in the back of 2 or 3 videos. I've talked about it, I think. If not, then last week's video is gonna come out next week because half of it got cut. So regardless, it's here and we've been working on it for a while now. It's been maybe about a month of work, and obviously not every single day has been a work day or things that we've done to it, but over the last month we've been working on it. We've been adding things, fixing things, just making it look nicer overall, and just, for example, this right here, that white part, it got, a complete respray. Other things like the side paint on the windows, you probably can't see from there, but that's not the point. Today, I think we're just gonna be looking at it. So far it's not 100% complete. It's near, but it's not there just yet. We're just gonna look at it. We're gonna look at things we added so far, things we've done to it, and really, just a review of how it's been, in the first month, what the first impression of a Delica is like. I know that many different places or regions got the Delica. You got Central America, I'm pretty sure places of Africa. If I'm not wrong, maybe even some parts of Europe. But Japan, of course, that's where it came from. And there's different versions of that as well. So you got the L300, the L400, even L200 if I'm not wrong. And there's even some that are a bit longer and they're kind of like a microbus, and it's a 4-row. So, this is like the one in my opinion. I don't know, to me the L400 just seems a little bit off. It kind of looks like a Dodge in a way to me. I don't know, it's just like the design of it. It's not really my liking, but to each their own. To me, this is like the Delica, the L300, the 4x4 turbo diesel 5-speed, everything that really you want in an off-roader or a camper van or a travel van, things like that. Maybe if you're just traveling on the street long distances, the gasoline one might be a little bit better, but I think that the top is this right here. The L300, this one specifically, is a 1994. I think it went up all the way until 1996. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'll put it up on the screen. And the interior is nice. It has nice little amenities, things. For 1994, by the way, it has this backup camera right here, very advanced technology. I don't know, it has a ladder. But let's just start looking at it. So let's start off here at the front. As I said, this big bull bar and all these round lights that you see, at the top there, 1, 2, and then those 4 down here, all of these are hella lights. So we have the 2 yellow ones right here at the top, and then the ones on the side are white, but they're also same brand and same size as well. Same with those 2, those are the same. And then that light bar in the middle, just because why not. We also went ahead and added roof racks. We have 2 of them. You can see there's a little gap in the middle right there, so 2 bars for each of them, and then that one on top. That front one, if I'm not wrong, is about 40 something inches, and then the one in the back is about 60. Again, if I'm not wrong, I don't remember the exact number, but they're very, they're very useful. There's a lot of space up there. You could tie down things. And even with the one in the front being smaller though, I think that if you were to just add one, it looks kind of naked, it's kind of missing the second half. So throughout the whole top. This whole bar got a respray as well. We kind of cleaned up and tried to make it look as nice as possible. Same with those black plastics that are right there. This right here got, refreshed. They got done nicely. We got a 4x4 Off-Road Express sticker, a 4x4 magazine sticker, and another Off-Road Express decal up there, just in case that you forgot this is an off-road vehicle. I don't think you would forget, but you have that. We have this reverse camera right here, backup camera, the ladder, the bar at the bottom of the protection, that's your exhaust, and we also added 2 light pods up there, right there. So, just in case you want to illuminate behind you while you're out on the roads or where there are no roads, out on the mud and rocks or whatever mountain you plan to climb. Overall, it's really clean. Like I put it up on the lift, this one right here, and it looks in good condition. It's obviously a 40-year-old car, 30-year-old-ish car. It's from Japan. It's in an island. There's gonna be a little bit of rust. It can't be 100% denied, but it's very like superficial. It's small. It's certain spots. It's not like eating through the metal and the frame. And even with the paint, you can see right there, and it's really soft as well. Obviously, you can't see that it's soft, but you know what I'm saying. Interior wise, it's very complete. We have the 2 shifters, your 5-speed because it's on an automatic, and you also have the transfer case so that you can put it into 4 low, 4 high, 2 low, whatever it is to get you out of your situations. We have this steering wheel right here, pretty nice. Here's your air vents, your dash, RPM, red line is at 5,000. Supposedly tops out at 180 kilometers an hour. Actually, no, 160. I wouldn't try that. I'm not sure if I believe that, but we have this radio over here, AC, of course, heater, and we added this little screen right here, which although not original, it's still, in my opinion, it looks good. I think that it's fitting. We have that radio, that's what that looks like in green, the clock, and that, so it still goes with the aesthetic of the car. It's 100% digital, it's a little screen. It modernizes it a little bit. I agree. I 100% think that the old one, the original one, should be there, but it also converts into miles per hour. It gives you your angle, your leaning, your level, your height, altimeter, altimeter, something. I think that's what it's called, and your compass, as well as your voltage. It displays a lot of useful information that you obviously can't get from something analog. It had the original analog clocks, the circles, those, but we went ahead and took those out. We still have them, whoever buys this at the end will get that if they want to go ahead and restore that. But they were broken, and also looked online, there's nothing. So, maybe one pops up later, maybe we'll go ahead and throw it on there. Moving on to the back, middle. Yeah, not the back, the middle. Oh, we have a sliding door. Don't mind those towels. So these are 3 rows. You have 3 seaters in the back. We have these at the middle and the 2 up front. Also curtains that are pretty nice. The cool thing about these though is that if you press this little handle and you pull this like so, you get a 3rd seat. Wow, technology. You get this little jump seat right here. That's pretty cool, It also has a headrest. It's in the back though. There's all your space. Very, very spacious. You could even put a TV right here. That's what some of them come with. That is just one configuration though, because you can also make your seats face the back ones. So if you want to have like a nice little party right here in the back, you can make your passengers face each other. Or if they hate each other, you could also make them face each other so that they argue the whole way through. Whatever you want, pick your own poison. Or you can fold all of these down, make it into a bed, and have no passengers if you like being alone. So that's the last configuration. This whole thing turns into a bed, and you can sleep here, you can camp, you can go really anywhere. And I think that's really what always set Japan out, like aside. It always was practical. Well, for the most part, there's exceptions, but they know how to make a car for a specific customer and a specific need, and it's there. If you need a car where you can sleep, you have one. If you need a car that goes fast, you have one. If you need one that's efficient, one that's extremely reliable, there's a car for everything. And it's, for the most part, it's pretty simple to fix. They're pretty easy to work on. There's certain bolts. A lot of the cars, you can fix almost anything with a little 10 millimeter, and that's all that you need. You'll fix pretty much anything on the car. And let's see the storage space. So as you can see, there's a fair amount of it. Oh, there's the thing I was talking about. So there's a fair amount of it. It's not huge because you can't fold down that 3rd row, but if you were able to put it down completely flat, you'd have a lot of room. Here are the parts that we've been working on. That's why it's full. That's wire harnesses, you know, things like that. Because of all the lights, there's the light itself. And yeah, a lot of things. It also has these California mirrors. They're absolutely huge. You can see like everything from them. As if you couldn't tell, you know, there's plenty of room on them. Also that one. Yeah, you could tell right there. You can see the whole road. All right, we have the other camera angle right here. We have it set up on the dash. Let me make sure my jacket doesn't hit my mic. Right, so let me show you this angle right here. Key in, and then we can see that turns on. We have the radio, as I showed, the clock. Here's all my lights on the dash itself. And there are you guys. What's up? Also, here are all of our switches. We went ahead and set them up right here, you know, nicely. All of it is wired down through where the original spot goes. So it's very neat, and well, you don't even notice it because there's not wires hanging over there. Regardless, let's get on with this. We're gonna go take it on a little test drive so that you can get an idea of what this van is like. I probably should have turned down the seats because I can't really see out the back right now. But you know, that's fine. It's probably better to drive blind than it is to drive while you can see. Right, first thing I notice when I get in, you know, here I'm reversing, I'm using my backup camera, and I can feel that the positioning I'm in is very comfortable. I'm very, you know, straight up. I could go lean back more if I wanted to. That's an option. I'm about 5'11", 6 foot, somewhere around there. And it's a comfortable seating position, you know, for a road trip or something like that. I can see myself being here for a long time. The other thing is the positioning of your steering wheel right here. So, you know, right now it's very bus-like, you know, I'm kind of on top of the tires. So there's that, plus this being almost flat. It's like a bus, right? It is adjustable. If you grab here, you can drop it down, kind of more like a regular car, but that's kind of crushing my legs for me, so it's not really an option. Plus this feels cooler. So let's go ahead. Suspension is very cushiony. Kind of what I would expect, you know. You can see it kind of like when I brake or something, it jumps. Judging off of the size of the tires and, you know, the shocks, everything, all of that, you know, I feel like you get an idea of what it really is like. But it's smooth. That's what I like about the diesel. It's soft. It just glides, you know. Plus the height and the shocks, the insane thickly tires, it just goes. And it is very top heavy. You're kind of swaying back and forth, you know, you're moving around. As you can see, I'm like, but you know, I don't mind. You know, that's kind of what the car was made for. It's not meant to be the most luxurious, comfortable ride that there is, you know. And once you acknowledge that, then you can get used to it. The other thing is, it's not meant for everyone, right? It's not just a regular car that everyone is going to enjoy, you know. There are certain people that are going to like it, and if you're one of those people, then good for you. I would definitely take this someplace that is for off-roading. I would definitely take it into a mountain and take it camping. That, you know, that's the perfect scenario for this car. So this is the 5-speed model. If you don't want to go banging through gears, there's the automatic one. But I feel like if I'm going on a road trip, well, no, if I'm going off-roading, I want that 5-speed. I also have the transfer case. It's 4x4. You can put it in low, and you know, you'll go over any rock. You also have a turbo, so there's an extra boost power there. You know, it's pushing you a little bit of pounds that, you know, it gives it what it needs. And all of that combined makes the Delica. That's the formula for the Delica, which they did a good job. They knew what they were doing. You know, it's at the end, it's Mitsubishi. As many jokes as people make that the brand is dead, maybe not a joke, it sadly is, but or at least here, you know, in the States, you don't see it. No one, you know. Plus, the cars that they make aren't really good, but you know, they just have so much history. They have the Delica, they have the Evos, that whole line, just winning pedigree, just championship after championship. You miss it, you know. They don't make it. They don't make it anymore. It's not like this anymore. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it from my smile. You know, I'm really enjoying this. I'm gonna just let the cars behind me pass by, have a little line. I will use this time though for this, you know. Here you go. Here's what I was talking about. It reads out your miles, and look at that view. That is what this car is about. So you can see it reads out my speed in miles per hour. So you don't have to think about converting it. You know, you can set it for kilometers, but you don't have to think about converting this into kilometers. You know, while you're driving, you could just quickly glance over here, and it tells you. So that's very useful, especially here since everything is in miles per hour. But here's my positioning. Here's how I look. My mirrors, other side. That sky looks nice today. But yeah, I'm enjoying myself, you know. It's a nice cruiser. And it also brings a lot of attention. That is an extra that I have noticed. It kind of looks like some cars that came out here. So it's not like an insanely strange, weird thing like a K car or a K truck. But a lot of people know what the Delica is. It's a very known car. And even from driving a little block down, people roll down their window. They're like, hey, that thing's cool. What's up? You know, it's like, I know I'm cool. You don't have to tell me that. I could roll up my window, right? But I'm just kidding. You know, you have a conversation, you meet new people, you go to a gas station, they'll talk to you. And it's, you know, it's a cool car. It's a good car. That little diesel 4-cylinder goes everywhere, you know. It's reliable. You can take it anywhere you want, and it'll just keep pushing. You give it a good treatment, you give it a good maintenance, it'll do you good back. And that's really the story of most Japanese cars. Another thing is it picks up pretty nicely, you know. It's slow, but it's not slow for big truck, you know, like big heavy diesel car slow, you know. Like, it's not an insanely huge vehicle. The engine's also not weak, you know. It's a good engine. It has a good amount of torque, and it picks up, you know, for what you think it is. It does well. Let me show you the lights. So they are really, really bright, you know, especially that top. Turn down my brightness here. You know, I think it's a great looking car. Definitely something special, you know, you don't see every day. Something cool. Here's the rears, lighting up this back portion. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking out the car with me. If you like Delicas, enjoy them, you know, if you had one maybe, then, you know, let me know. I think that this is a very cool car. It's not something common. It's not something that everyone has. It's not something that is seen or everyone knows about. So that's kind of, for me, that makes it even better, you know. You can have like, I don't know, Lamborghini or something. It's like, oh, well, everyone knows what it is, but like, that doesn't really impress me. I hope that you guys enjoyed and have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Goodbye.